SOS Audio presents The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, fan audiobook, written by Nagaru Tanigawa. Chapter 6. As with yesterday, today I found yet another letter inside my shoe locker. Seriously, what's with people delivering letters through shoe lockers these days? However, it had a different feeling this time. The letter wasn't folded or anonymous like last time. The envelope looked like one of those elegant envelopes that come with shoujo magazines for questionnaires and the sort. On the back was clearly written a name. I couldn't believe my eyes. Asahina Mikuru. I instantly placed the envelope into the pocket of my jacket and ran off to the men's room to open it. There, written on a piece of paper with smiley symbols all over it, were written the following words. I will be waiting for you in the clubroom during lunch break, Mikuru-chan. After the events of yesterday, my whole view on life, the world, and reality itself went through a 360-degree somersault like an acrobat. I never wanted to go through such a life-threatening situation again. Yet, I couldn't turn this down. After all, it was Asahina who invited me this time. Though I had no evidence to prove this letter had actually been written by Asahina, I never doubted it for a second. She seemed like the type to go through such indirect means. Furthermore, the image of her clutching a pen while writing excitedly on a cute piece of paper really suits her. If it's during lunch break, Nagato should be in the clubroom as well. Should anything really happen, I guess she would come to my rescue. Please don't call me a hopeless coward. I'm just a normal high school student after all. After fourth period, I was surrounded by Taniguchi staring at me with meaningful eyes, Kunakita coming over with his lunchbox trying to invite me to have lunch together, and Haruhi asking that I go with her to the staff room to investigate the truth of Asakura's departure. Without even having eaten from my lunchbox, I left for the clubroom at once. It was only May, yet the sun was already shining with the brightness of summer. The sun was like an extra-large fireplace, happily radiating its energy toward Earth. When summer finally comes, Japan becomes a natural sauna. I could feel sweat creeping into my underwear just from taking a few steps. In 3 minutes, I arrived at the clubroom door. I knocked first.
Please come in.
It was Asahina's voice, no doubt about it. All right, I can relax and go in. When I entered, I found Nagato missing, and to my surprise, so was Asahina. In front of me stood a long-haired girl leaning by the windowsill facing the school courtyard. She wore a white blouse and black miniskirt, while her feet sported a pair of slippers made for school visitors. When she saw me, she walked towards me delightfully and took my hands.
Hyun-kun, it's been a while.
She was not Asahina, yet she resembled Asahina a lot. So much that one would easily mistake her for the real thing. To be honest, even I would have thought she was Asahina. Yet, she wasn't Asahina. The Asahina I knew wasn't that tall, and her face wasn't that fully grown. Not to mention, the breasts under that blouse couldn't have possibly grown a third in size overnight. No matter how I looked, I was sure the person in front of me smiling while holding my hands was in her 20s, giving off a completely different feeling from the junior high school girl like Asahina. But why did she resemble her so much? Excuse me, are you Asahina-san's sister? She looked surprised for a while, then smiled and winked her eyes, shaking her shoulders. Even her smile was the same.
I'm me. I'm Asahina Mikuru, only that I come from an even further timeline.
I must have looked really stupid then. Actually, I could easily accept Asahina saying she was from the future. Looking at the beauty standing in front of me, I realized how beautiful she had grown. Plus, she was taller, making her much sexier. I never thought she would be so beautiful.
Oh, you still don't believe me? Then I'll show you proof.
She then promptly began to unbutton her blouse. When she opened the second button, she revealed her bust to my astonishment.
Look, can you see the star-shaped birthmark? It's not stuck on. You want to touch it?
There was a star-shaped birthmark on her left breast, an attractive highlight on the white skin, radiating charm.
So now do you believe?
How should I put this? I don't even remember seeing whether Asahina had a birthmark on her breast. Though I was kind of forced into seeing her change when she dressed as a bunny girl a while ago. I wouldn't be so focused as to notice such a small area. While I was thinking the above, the attractive, mature-looking Asahina said,
That's strange. If you hadn't told me I had this birthmark, I wouldn't have noticed it myself.
Asahina confusedly shook her head, and then, as if realizing something, her eyes widened and she blushed furiously.
Oh no! That's right, we still have... Oh, what should I do?
She put her hands over her face and shook frantically. Her collar button still opened.
I got it wrong. I'm sorry. Please forget what I just said.
That's easier said than done. Oh, and could you please button up? I just don't know where to look anymore. All right, I'll believe you for now. At the moment, I'm ready to believe anything.
Excuse me?
Oh, nothing. Just talking to myself. The unknown-aged Asahina was still holding her red face in her hands when she realized what I was staring at and quickly buttoned up. After sitting properly, she coughed dryly and said,
Do you really believe I've come from the future to this temporal plane?
Of course. If that's the case, that means right now, there are 2 Asahinas in this world.
Yes, the me from the past. Right now, she's sitting with her classmates having lunch in the classroom.
Does the other Asahina know you're here?
No, after all, she is my past.
I see.
Since I wanted to tell you something, I begged the higher-ups to let me come to this time frame. Oh yes, I previously asked Nagato-san to leave us for now.
If it's Nagato, I bet she wouldn't even flinch when seeing this Asahina. Do you know who Nagato-san really is?
I'm sorry, but that is classified information. Oh, I just realized I haven't said that in a long time.
I just heard you say that a few days ago.
You're right.
She said this while knocking her head and sticking out her tongue. That really was something Asahina would do. Yet, she began to look serious suddenly.
I can't stay here for too long, so I'll cut to the point.
Just say whatever you want to say.
Have you heard of Snow White?
I stared at the slightly taller Asahina. Her black pupils seemed to be getting watery. Well, yeah.
No matter what distressing situations you will face from now on, I hope you will remember this story.
You mean the one with the 7 dwarfs, the wicked witch, and the poisoned apple?
Yes, the story of Snow White.
I've already experienced plenty of distressing situations.
No, it's more serious than I can tell you the details. But all I can say is that Suzumiya Haruhi will also be by your side.
Haruhi? You mean both she and I will get involved in something troublesome? When? Where?
Maybe Suzumiya-san doesn't think it bothersome, but for you and us all, it's a tricky problem.
Can't you tell me the details?
I'm sorry, I can only give you hints. That's all I can do.
The grown-up Asahina was so apologetic that she was near tears. Yeah, that's the expression Asahina usually shows. You mean the story of Snow White?
Yes.
I'll remember it. After seeing me nod, Asahina said she had a bit of time left, so she walked around the club room nostalgically, delicately caressing the maid costume hanging on the costume rack.
I used to wear this often. Now I definitely wouldn't dare to wear this.
You seem to be cosplaying as an office girl now.
Since I can't enter in my uniform, I have to dress up as a teacher.
Some people are simply born to wear costumes. Speaking of which, what else did Asahina make you wear?
I'm not telling you. It's too embarrassing. Besides, you'll find out soon enough. Isn't that right?
Asahina approached my face. I discovered her eyes were unusually moist, and her face a little red.
Then I'll be going now.
Asahina looked at me, wanting to continue, but decided to stop. Seeing her trembling, she seemingly wanted something. Perhaps I should give her a kiss. Just when I was about to embrace her, she backed off. Asahina turned around lightly and said,
Finally, I have one more request. Please, don't get too close to me.
She said with a weak sigh. I quickly shouted to Asahina, who was running to the door. Wait, I have a question for you. Asahina stopped, just as she was about to open the door. Asahina-san, exactly how old are you right now? Asahina turned and gave a seductive smile.
Classified information.
The door shut just like that. I couldn't have done anything, even if I had given chase. Wow, I could hardly believe that Asahina would look so beautiful when she grew up. I suddenly thought of the first thing she said. Hyun-kun, it's been a while. that can mean only one thing. Asahina hadn't seen me for a long time. Yeah, that makes sense. The future Asahina must have returned to her time and spent a few years there before reuniting with me in this age. How long has it been for her? From how she has grown, I'd say perhaps 5 years or maybe even 3. Girls change a lot when they graduate from high school. My cousin was like that. When she was in high school, she had always been a quiet, bright schoolgirl that didn't attract any attention. Then, when she entered university, she transformed from an ugly caterpillar into a beautiful butterfly. Yet, since she's grown, I'm even more confused by Asahina's true age. I don't think she's 17 at all. Man, I'm hungry. I think I'll go back. Just then, Yuki Nagito entered with her usual well-preserved cold face, without her customary eyewear. Hey, did you see someone who looked like Asahina passing by?
I have already seen Asahina Mikuru's differential temporal clone this morning.
Nagito silently sat on her seat and placed her book on the desk and opened it.
She is no longer here. She has departed from this time frame.
Can you travel through time as well, with that data entity thing?
I cannot. However, temporal movement is not as difficult as one would think. It's just that humans have yet to grasp its basic principles. Time is like space. Moving through it is very simple.
Then, can you teach me?
It is a concept that cannot be conveyed through speech, so you wouldn't understand, even if I explained it.
Is that so?
It is so.
I guess it's my loss then.
Your loss.
It was pointless trying to talk to such a wooden character. So I decided to go back to the classroom. Maybe I would still have time for lunch. Nagito, thanks for yesterday. Her wooden expression moved slightly.
There is no need to thank me. Asakura Ryoko's actions were my responsibility. I was careless with my supervision.
Her hair swung softly. Was she trying to bow and apologize to me? You definitely look cuter without your glasses. She didn't reply.